Are you a professional woman who wants to create passive income streams and financial freedom through real estate investing? Join us here on Real Estate Investor Goddesses, hosted by Monick Halm. Listen to women who are rocking it in real estate investments as they share their stories of success, failures, and best advice in real estate investing. Start creating real wealth through real estate. Tune in today. Here's your host, real estate investor, syndicator, and developer, Monick Halm.
Welcome to the Real Estate Investor Goddesses podcast. I'm your host, Monick Halm. On this show, we interview usually women real estate investors that are crushing it in the real estate investing space. And today's guest is a little different, though she has dreams to become a real estate investor. I'm inviting her on because she is the second generation member of the Money Multiplier Method, and it's about infinite banking, and it's an important tool that people can use for real estate investing, and so few people know about it. Just last year, I got myself an infinite banking policy. It's very empowering, and my mission is to empower 1 million women to create financial freedom through real estate investing, I think this is a useful tool to help you to do that, to create financial freedom, to make your money work harder and faster for you. So I'm super excited to introduce Hannah Kessler, who, as I said, she's the second generation of the Money Multiplier Method. And I'm meeting her for the first time. I have seen and met her father before, who started it. This is a method Hannah and her father travel all around the country to teach how to recycle, recapture, and keep total control of your hard-earned dollars. Money Multiplier teaches the importance of privatized banking, keeping money in the family, and how to break the bonds of financial slavery you don't even realize you're in. So she's going to tell us all about this. As I said before, her dreams are to become a savvy real estate investor and designer to hopefully start her own clothing line. And with wealth management tools, she knows these dreams will become a reality sooner rather than later. Super excited to have her with us. Welcome, Hannah.
Hi, Monique. Thank you. Thanks for having me. And hello, everybody.
Well, thanks for being on. So we were talking before we hit record, and I was sharing that I got one of these policies last year. I'm super excited about it, but it is kind of complicated. It's definitely different from what most of us are taught. It's a paradigm shift that you have to do before you get one, I believe. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. No, and honestly, it is a paradigm shift, because right now, all you're doing is you're just going with the flow of everybody else and how they're living and doing their life with their money, right? We've been taught from day one, all right, go to high school, get your diploma, go to college, get a good degree, and then go out, work, and put your money in your 401k and let the government take care of you. But really, if you go out and you see all those seniors out there, how well is that doing for them? And so this is just a different concept of how to handle money.
So explain what is an infinite banking policy.
Yeah, so infinite banking. So first, I gotta tell y'all where all of this information comes from. So it comes from a Black book called Becoming Your Own Banker. So Becoming Your Own Banker, it's by a gentleman named R. Nelson Nash. And so actually Nelson, we lost him about 2 years ago. March of 2019 is when we lost him. But I actually had the pleasure of meeting him 1 month before he passed. So that was kind of when I was going out more and traveling with Pops, because I guess I'll start there too. I got into this because my father was shared this information, because we didn't even come from the money background whatsoever. Dad was a chiropractor, and he had a boatload of debt that he was just in this financial hamster wheel of trying to break free and break those bonds. And so it was one day when he was at this chiropractic conference that he heard this information being presented, and he looked at the material. He said, "Man, that looks real good, but it looks way too good to be true." So he went back home. He did his own stuff, went back to the chiropractic clinics. Actually, at the time, I was a CA, a chiropractic assistant. I was that front desk lady up there, and I was working with Pops. But right, he went back, he doing his old daily stuff. He actually bought this book, Becoming Your Own Banker, didn't read it, went back home, didn't read it, set it on the shelf, and just went back to his daily living. But then it was when his friends and his colleagues and his mentors, they really started to grasp this and understand this infinite banking concept. And it wasn't when he learned about it about 2 years later, he went back to that same chiropractic conference, and all of those folks were hooting and hollering about this concept, how I can keep in total control of my money, how I can recycle and recapture my dollars. And Dad was like, well, crap, I kind of missed the train on that one. And so that's when he really started to take the actions of implementing this. But really, the infinite banking concept, all it is that we're using a vehicle that the super elite and the rich are using as well. You know, they're not teaching us really how they're working their money and how they're handling it, right? And so most of y'all will be surprised when I say this, but as you said, Monique, yes, it's a policy. Really, the platform or the product that we're using is a specifically engineered whole life insurance policy. Now, I know when I went there and I said whole life insurance policy, about a half a dozen of you hung up the podcast and said, Hannah, I know everything there is to know about a whole life insurance policy. And a matter of fact, you really don't, because what you're thinking of is those typical old whole life policies that your, excuse my language, but that your broke ass brother-in-law is selling, right? Everyone's got a brother-in-law who sells life insurance, right? It's not that. It's a specifically engineered, specifically designed policy for that high immediate cash value. Truthfully, the only reason that we're using a whole life policy is because this is the best platform to practice this concept on. We're funneling our money through these policies, and we are essentially becoming our own banker in that way. I mean, I'll tell you, in my own personal life, I store all of my wealth inside of my whole life policies. I don't keep more than 3 months of overhead in a conventional bank, because really the only difference between a conventional bank and an insurance company is just the name on the front door. They're both places to store our money, but we've never been taught that way. So that's why I feel like it's our mission to go out there and say, hey, there's something that's out there that y'all need to know.
Okay, so this is really exciting, but I'm sure you're like, people are like, what is she talking about? Because what do you mean that you can store money in an insurance policy, and why would you want to?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us more. What are the benefits of this?
Yeah. So really, these whole life policies, the number one thing that I personally like about it the most is that I'm basically just making my money work even harder for me. Because what happens is okay, so I've been kind of actually using this word more and more as I do my phone calls with all of our members. I treat our policies, I think of it as a funnel, right? And basically what I'm doing is I am putting my wealth inside of my policies first. Because honestly, right now, when you get money in, what you do is you go and put it in somebody else's bank, and that banker, they lend out your money and they make a good living off of your money. So now what we're just doing is we are going to be in control of that. We are putting our money into the privatized bank of Hannah Kessler, i.e. my whole life policy. And then I'm taking it out to go do and buy the products and services that I'm already going to go buy in life. So really the benefits of the policy is there's something that is in there. It's the uninterrupted compounding that happens within our money. And on top of that, everything in the policy is tax free. And what is our largest eroder of wealth? It's taxes. And Monique, you know that the best because you're in LA, California.
Yes, I sure have my fair share of taxes here. And you're right. It's not just what you make, it's what you get to keep that makes a difference. And I'll tell you why I got one of these policies, because one is that while you can use your money and have it working for you outside of the policy, and it's working for you inside of the policy.
100%.
That sounds a little complicated, but while it's there in the policy, it's making a percentage. And mine is making around 4% a year, which is way better than the 0.25% that's in the bank account, but it's
Yes.
making money and it's growing tax-free.
Yes.
Tax-free. What you can do is you can loan out that money. You can loan it to yourself. You can loan it to others. Before we're talking, and I was talking about her father uses this. He uses it to use for real estate. He does private money lending, so he lends it to people for real estate, and they're using it and paying him back, with interest.
And,
So that money is making money.
And we can talk about that. No, I sum it up by saying, oh my gosh, I'm basically just double dipping all my dollars. And I have it inside of my policy. So I'll talk about that. So how, because honestly, I think that's the ultimate place of where you want to go, because I know people enjoy their fix and flips and do going in and doing all the work. But to me personally, if I can go make my money work for me and I don't have to do any work or lift a finger, I'd rather do that. Right. And so what he does that hard money lending. He takes cash from his policies, gives it to those borrowers, and then what he does is he's the bank now. What he takes as collateral is the first position on the mortgage on that home. And then what they do, they pay him back. They pay him back with interest, and that's how he's cycling his money. But even though he has those dollars out there to that borrower, all of his money is still sitting in the policy, growing at that guaranteed compounding of the 4%. And that's guaranteed. It says that within the policy contract is that you can make no less than that guaranteed 4%. And that's just not my flapping gums saying that, right?
Yeah. So it's very cool. I won't lie. It took me a while to fully understand this. And I spent months talking to a lot of different people, asking lots of questions, trying to figure out what, how this works. And I was like, your dad, I was like, this does sound too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was like, how really I can be earning money while my money is, off doing something else, and that there's no tax. And so this infinite banking policy, like I said, I like it because it's growing, it's tax-free. You can use it while it's almost like there's a duplicate bucket, right? It's like two buckets. There's one bucket that's sitting there growing. And at the same time, they allow you to use that bucket while it's growing. Whereas in a bank account, if you take the money out of the account, it's not going to continue to grow, right? Yeah. So that's the big difference.
That's exactly what I say for my examples. Like, for instance, like when you use money just from your bank account, right? That you take that money out. Let's say we're going to go buy a car, right? I'm going to take that money out of my bank account. I'm going to go pay cash for my car. You get the car, the dealer gets their money, and everybody walks away. Right? Transactions done. But by going the route of really being in that control, taking a loan from your policy and then going to buy that car, same deal. You have the car, the dealer has their money, but now I have that system in place to recapture and recycle all of those dollars because I funneled it through the policy.
Yeah, that's really cool. You said you have a place that people can go to find out more and to go deeper. Do you want to share where you can do that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So our company is called The Money Multiplier. So yeah, my main duty here is I'm Pops's right-hand gal. He is, so Pops is really the head honcho of The Money Multiplier. And as I get more and more into this, his passion is kind of rubbing off on me just a little bit. Because as I get more and more into this, because honestly, we're just helping people's lives. People just don't know what they don't know. There's that Will Rogers quote out there. He says, the problem in America isn't so much what people don't know, it's what people think they know that just ain't so. So I encourage everyone, go out and just review the material. Pick up that book, Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And actually, a matter of fact, I'll give you my email as well, and I'll send you a copy of our free ebook. So Brent, my father, and I don't know if y'all are out there, since we're speaking on a real estate podcast, there's a gentleman out there by the name of Chris Noggle. And Chris Noggle is very active into real estate. He actually had a few shows on HGTV, his latest one being Risky Builders. And the reason that we got hooked up with Chris is because Brent went out, he shared this information to a real estate group, and Chris said, hey, that's cool, you got to come on my stage and talk to my folks. And that's what Chris does, is that he uses his policy to finance all of the investment deals that he's doing. But I'll give you it. The website, our website is called themoneymultiplier.com. So www.themoneymultiplier.com. And you'll see up at the top there, it's that taskbar. And if you go underneath the resources tab, there'll be it'll click on resources, and you can scroll down there, and it'll say presentation. But just take the time to go better your financial situation in your life, because there's so much more out there that we just don't know.
Well, I've used my policy to buy real estate, and plan to do more. So let me ask you a question. Who is a good candidate for this type of policy, and who isn't?
Good question. I say if you stand in front of a mirror and you breathe into it and it fogs it up, that you're a good candidate for infinite banking. No, but seriously though, everybody has that control, and they have that power to step away from the bank, step away from the government, and you be in that full control of your financial life. But truthfully, so honestly, anybody. So I know some folks might raise some eyebrows and say, well, Hannah, maybe I'm 73. I'm too old to get a policy. Well, no, you're not, because what we're doing is that we're using these policies for the cash value banking function of it. That death benefit is just that cherry on top of the cake. So let's say you are older. Let's say that you are uninsurable, right? That let's say, because for these policies, you got to qualify on the health side for them. So let's say that you had cancer 2 years ago, or 10 feet of your intestines removed. Obviously, we can't get you approved for a policy. So what you do is you find somebody that you have vested interest in. Let's say that you're married, or you have children, or a business partner. You can always put the policy on their body, be the owner of it, and thus the owner, the one who has the gold, makes the rules. They're the ones who are in 100% control of the policy. Use this thing for the banking concept.
Awesome. So, when I did ask somebody, and they told me there were some people for whom it was not the best fit. And one was, well, first you need to have the money to fund it. The other thing was, they said, if you are not responsible with your money, right? If you don't pay back your debts, if you just overspend, and then it won't work for you probably. You have to be able to just stay organized with it. And if you can, it's amazing. But if you're not in control of your money whatsoever, it's not the best policy for you. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, heck, that there's no reason that you should be going to Starbucks every single day, right? So save up a few of those dollars. If you really want to reach those dreams and those desires in your life, you'll find a way. You'll make it a priority to get to those dreams and to get to that end point. So, and actually that's really why we're here. And that's why I think a lot of folks like working with us, because we're not just going to give you this policy and then I'm going to change my phone number and sail away. Right? Really, the big thing that we have is our mapping team. That's what we call it, our mapping team and our mapping department, where we create visual tools for everybody. So if you go onto our website and you watch that presentation, you'll see something in there called the Money Multiplier Map. And in that presentation, Brent shows you how this one individual, it's actually a friend of ours, he's a chiropractor, it's a real life example, and how he used the policy to pay off, I think it was like $475,000 of debt. And that's called the Money Multiplier Map. And we create one for all of our folks. And we have those quarterly meetings with everybody, checking in on them, saying, hey, how are you doing? Because just out in Nelson's book, he says, use it or lose it. And we want you to use this concept because really it's going to be there for your whole life. This isn't just something that it's not just a get rich quick. It's not a I'm going to do this for a few months and then stop. No, no, no. This is the additional step that you're going to be adding to your financial life. So,
Yeah,
so that's what I truly believe.
definitely works better if you use it. It's
Mhm.
like, it's that's the ironic thing. It use like using that money, taking it out, getting loans on the policy that makes it more beneficial. Let me ask you a question. What is the biggest mistake you've seen with somebody having one of these policies?
Yeah, the biggest mistake is not being that honest banker with themselves. If you're just going to take and take and take from your cash, so really, I guess let me say this: treat your money just how you treat the bank's money, right? Because when you go down to the conventional bank and you take out a loan from them, you pay them back with interest, and you never skip a beat in doing it. Because right, because if you do, they'll foreclose on your house, they'll capture whatever that collateral is that you told them that you would give them. But if you don't do that with your money, all you're saying is that your money is just not as valuable as the bank's money. And that's simply not true. So treat your money just how you treat the bank's money and play that honest banker with yourself. Pay yourself back with interest. And again, that's why I think us here at the Money Multiplier, we're going to be here and basically handhold you because we want you to practice those good habits and have those good morals in your financial life. Because I mean, what Nelson says in his book is that you want to be in two businesses in your life. The first business is you want to be in the one that produces your income, that you're passionate about, that brings in that stream, right? And the second one is you want to be in the banking business, the business that finances everything throughout your life. And that's what we're here talking about. We're talking about the banking business in your life.
Yeah. So banks make money, right? They know how to make money. Um, and who is the biggest investor in these types of policies?
Yeah, I would say so. So, like in the whole life policies, honestly, banks are that's good. That's good. Banks actually are the number one purchasers of whole life insurance in the world. I'll let you go fact check me. Go Google something called BOLI, BOLI, and it stands for Bank Owned Life Insurance. And you will see the hundreds of pages that come up of how much banks actually own in whole life insurance. And actually, matter of fact, since 2013, they've quadrupled their portfolio of whole life insurance. So are they just stupid, or do they know something that the rest of us don't know? And so now that I know what they're doing, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to mimic and imitate exactly what they're doing and practice it in my own life.
That helped convince me. It's like, wait, banks do this? They're like, banks are the number one purchaser, and this is not a new concept, right? So
Nope.
I think most of the policies or the insurance companies that do this have been around since what, the 1800s?
That's it. That's it. I mean, the whole life policies have been around even longer than our tax code has been. And our tax code came about in 1913. So there's so many features and benefits that you can do in it that you can't do in any other vehicle on the planet. And I challenge y'all, if you know of another vehicle, you deserve to come and tell me because we've been looking and we can't find anything else. So if you have something, please share it with us.
Yeah. So what advice would you give for somebody who's interested in one of these policies?
Yeah, yeah. So I would say step one is really understand the foundation of what's going on. So go to our website and watch that presentation because there you'll see the what's, the hows, the heck, why do I even want to do this? It'll all lay it out there, and then going through that presentation, you'll probably have some questions. So holler at us. My email address, it's my first name Hannah, HANNAH at themoneymultiplier.com. I'll even text you. I work from my own personal cell phone number, so let's hop on a phone call and I'll answer all of your questions and how this will be personalized to you.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Hannah. So if you guys need to connect with her, she's shared. So we're gonna end with our Trinity, which is a brag, a gratitude, and a desire. So what's one thing you're celebrating right now? What's your brag?
My brag, let me be honest. I actually used my policy this way. No promo. Like, I actually used my policy to buy a 2021 Ram ProMaster van. So if y'all know about those, it's kind of like those Mercedes Sprinter vans. And so what I was doing just last weekend, the reason I was up in Nashville, Tennessee, because I live down here in Daytona Beach, Florida. And the reason I was up there is because I had to drive my van up there because the guy's going to go and do the conversions in the back of it. So he's going to turn that into that RV style. And because that's what I love to do. If I'm not out there talking about this stuff, I like to go out traveling and camping and just kind of see the world.
Love it. Well bragged. And one thing you're grateful for?
And one thing I'm grateful for, I would say, honestly, I was thinking about that this morning. I am just grateful to wake up and honestly just to live every day exactly how I want to live it. You know that one song, it's Vacation by Dirty Heads, right? If you love your occupation, every single day is a vacation. And I truly believe that there's nothing else that I would rather be doing than working right along with Pops, changing people's lives. Because truthfully, it honestly brings me to tears sometimes when people are on the phone with me and said, Hannah, I would never be in the position I am now if I wouldn't have met you and your father. And that's what I really love to do, is I like to help people.
Beautiful. And last but not least, what's one desire?
One desire. What is my desire? I would say, my desire is, does it have to be materialistic?
No, not at all.
Yes. I would say, I don't know, my brain does go to materialistic, but you know what? What I've been really into recently, I really want a pinball machine. That's my desire. I want an antique pinball machine and I want to collect them. I don't know. And that's my desire, I think, in life.
That's an awesome desire. Well, so shall your desire be, or so much better than you can imagine.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing about this policy. Y'all, you can connect with Hannah at themoneymultiplier.com, or just go to their website, themoneymultiplier.com, to download and find out more about this type of policy. It really is empowering when you have one. So I'm really happy, Hannah, you could come on and share about it. If you want to connect with me, go to reigoddesses.com. There you can find out about our training program, our events, and just get connected to our amazing community of women real estate investors. And don't forget to subscribe and join us next time for another amazing Real Estate Investor Goddess podcast interview. Bye-bye.
Thank you, y'all. Bye.
You have just listened to another episode of Real Estate Investor Goddesses, a show dedicated to sharing stories of women creating real wealth through real estate. If you found value on what you just heard, feel free to share with your friends. Visit us at reigoddesses.com to learn more about our programs and live events, as well as to access other resources. Until next time.